Donnie tossed and turned all night. The cold air constantly blowing on his face made it hard to sleep. He woke up at 6:30 a.m. He turned from one side to the other, but nothing felt comfortable. After trying for an hour, he decided to get up. He exited the tent and... okay. The walk to the restroom was just tenuous now. Sure, it was a distance of 2 blocks, but walking back and forth for 6 days was kind of annoying. Was this camping week a test for his physical strength or his mental? Anyway, he made it to the restrooms. After Donnie was done, he walked back to the camp for what felt like 100th time. He crawled back into his tent. Oh, how he wanted to sleep more, but his back was too sore to even lay down. He grabbed a box of crackers and ate a handful. That counted as breakfast, right? Leo was already beginning to stir, probably from Donnie munching the crackers. It's so hard to eat those things quietly. The temperature felt cold, but it was supposed to be warm later that day. So Donnie stayed bundled up until the sun had enough time to warm the earth. Hey! Hey, Tallow! Donnie blinked his eyes to find himself sitting at the picnic table. There was a bit of confusion at first, but Donnie remembered walking over to the picnic table. You falling asleep there? Leo asked, washing the dishes beside him. Donnie slowly raised his head off the picnic table. Bad sleep last night? Yep, you got it, Donnie said with as much enthusiasm he could muster up. He smacked his forehead back down on the table. It was almost lunchtime already. Mikey looked in the cooler for the sandwich fixings. There's the mustard! I've been looking everywhere for it. Mikey flipped the bottle in his hand, then went back to make the sandwiches. Mikey passed the food to the others. Donnie lifted his head and looked at the plate to inspect it. It was a turkey sandwich. They literally had turkey sandwiches for lunch for the past week. Donnie couldn't wait to have some real food, pizza. He ate the sandwich anyway. When Raph got done with the dishes and finished his food, he rushed over to his tent like he had forgotten something. He came back with a big box. Who wants to play Giant Sorry? Raph asked as he held it up high. Mikey was the first to bounce. Oh, I do. I'll play. Sure. Raph opened the box and shook out the large vinyl game board, laying it down like a blanket. He took out the giant pieces and set them up in their places. Leo took the blue. Mikey took the yellow. And Raph took the red. Donnie was stuck with green. He was disappointed that there was no purple. The game was going well, till crazy stuff started to happen, and all of Raph's pegs were sent back to the beginning. Donnie felt kind of bad about it. He must have blinked, because Mikey was 2 hops away from winning. But there was no stopping him. He got the number 2 he was looking for. Mikey crossed the finish line and was winner and still champ. Welp, good game, Leo said as he flopped backwards and raised a thumb. Mikey grinned and wiggled in his spot. Donnie was so close to winning too, but there could be only one, I guess. He looked over at Raph's pegs and saw that there were barely left to start. Donnie felt sorry for him, but Raph didn't seem to mind as he rubbed Mikey's head with a smile. First one to the shower house gets the shower first, Raph said as he pushed off Mikey and sprinted to the shower house. Hey, no fair! Mikey yelled out, chasing after him. Luckily, I already took my shower, Leo said as he flipped his mask tails. Donnie would have had none. We were practically sleepwalking the whole morning. Donnie shrugged his shoulders and walked back into his tent. He grabbed his Atomic Lass action figure and exited the tent. He took a stroll over the lake. Upon arriving, he saw the sun reflecting on the lake. He watched as the water rippled. He knelt down, setting his action figure on the rock. Suddenly, an idea popped into his head. He posed his action figure into a cool pose, standing with legs spread out and her blaster held high. Donnie got down on his elbows, took out his phone, and swiped open the camera. He took a few pictures and checked to see which one was best. Donnie looked up, seeing how perfect the sun was framed with the tree line. The clouds swirled around in gentle strokes. He gazed upon the sky as colors faded from blue to a gentle pink. An artist's masterpiece. Donnie snapped a picture of the most beautiful sunset, capturing it in a timeless photo. Donnie could believe this is the last day of their camp. How time seemed to have flown away. Sure, at first, it was rough, and he really didn't want to be there. But now, Donnie wished he had a few more days. He soaked in this moment, this feeling of calm and peace of mind. For tomorrow, they would pack for home. The sun had set as Donnie made his way back to camp. Raph and Mikey had already finished their shower, and Mikey was already back at the cooking table, the last supper they'd have here. Okay, it's not that dramatic, because honestly, Donnie couldn't wait to have some of the food from run-of-the-mill pizza again. He'd been craving pizza for the past few days, but it's just one more day. One more day. The fire illuminated the campsite in a brilliant orange. As Donnie approached the others, he could smell the food cooking already. "Ah, Donnie, you're back! Food's ready!" Mikey said as he held out a plate. Donnie took the dish and looked over what he was about to eat. It was like a veggie stir-fry with noodles. Now, pizza would always be the first place. But Chinese food came a close second. Donnie happily ate his dinner. He kind of wished he could have more, but he wanted to make sure Raph wouldn't be hungry. His bro, who is the biggest, who needs a lot more food to function. But the night didn't actually end after supper, for Mikey had been saving this the whole week. He dug out a small paper and simply asked, "Who wants s'mores?" Like that was a question needed to the answer. Of course it was a yes. Raph, Leo, and Donnie huddled around Mikey for the alleged ingredients. Mikey handed them each 2 large marshmallows and a fork. Donnie put the 2 together. He leaned closer and stuck the marshmallow over the fire. He slowly and carefully let the marshmallow melt. He looked over at the others as they cooked theirs. Mikey was already done. Donnie? Your marshmallow! It's..." Donnie looked back to see his marshmallow had turned into a small ball of fire. Panicking, he quickly drew it out the fire and blew hard until the fire went out. Turning it to see all sides, half of it was a very dark brown, but it looked okay. "Hope you like crispy marshmallows," Leo smirked, but honestly felt a little sorry. Donnie rolled his eyes. He grabbed the graham crackers and chocolate, and placed the marshmallow on the cracker and chocolate and slid the marshmallow off. He gently grabbed the s'more and lifted it up to eye level. Right in front of him was a camping classic. Donnie was normally one that would swallow something in one bite, but with something like that, he wanted to savor the flavor. He took one bite and instantly drawn back to the very first time he had one. He kicked his feet and did a little happy dance. Donnie wanted this moment to last longer. Why did it have to be the last day? Donnie looked down at his hands, feeling the sticky marshmallow on his fingers. Cleaning his hands was probably a good idea. He got up and headed to the restroom. When he arrived, he paused for a moment. He looked at the handle, then looked at his hands. He fiddled with the handle, trying to turn it without getting it all messy as well. He eventually got it and shuffled inside. He washed his hands and looked at the mirror. He saw the bruise on his toes he retrieved a few days ago. Then he looked down at his hip. The scratches were healed up, but the bruise was still bright and hurt to touch. Hopefully, the bruises will heal quickly. Donnie exited the restrooms and got back to the camp. The others were getting ready for bed. Donnie said goodnight before he headed to his tent. He crawled inside and got into his sleeping bag one last time. It was the last day, and it was already over. Donnie let out a quiet sigh and closed his eyes.